signs you have a writing gift lie in how you approach life. In this video, I'll set out the patterns that reveal the writer's instinct. If you recognize yourself here, then the next question is up to you. You're a writer, so what are you going to do about it? Pattern number 1. You see things as a starting point. The 3 questions you're asking are: what brought us here? Where will it lead? And how does it end? Let me give you a simple example. Normally I'm a night owl, but the other day I managed to get up bright and early for the sunrise. I was walking along the beach. A guy was just wandering past me and he gave me this big knowing smile, the sort of smile that I assume early risers only reserve for each other. I was in disguise. And I wondered what brought that smile to his face. And we were walking along this beach pathway. Naturally, I was thinking about where's he heading for the rest of the day and where's he coming from. As writers, we tend to see these episodes not just as moments in time, but points on a continuous line. That line being life, that line being the story we want to tell. Writers tend to see the potential in everything around them. In this way, I'd imagine they are highly similar to entrepreneurs and creatives in other fields. So if you see things as a starting point that lead to further questions you tend to fill in with your imagination, that's a pretty good sign so far. Quick pause here to tell you about my storytelling coaching. Whether you have an online channel or your own business, storytelling is key to connecting with your audience. In the coaching, we will go through the timeless principles of commanding attention and inspiring your audience to take action. We will run through how to communicate in a way that is authentic and natural for you, as well as really understanding what will move your audience. To find out more, drop me a line at this email address and I will respond to you shortly. Now back to the video. Signal number 2. Words are like music for you. Now, of course, words are vehicles for meaning. They convey information, but that really is the end that we're talking about. Writers focus also on the means, on the words as something to enjoy in their own right. Signs that you're this kind of person are probably that you read certain sections twice, or you'll read them out loud, or you'll want to stand up when you read particularly striking passages, or you're the type of person who actually listens to the lyrics in a song, how the sound of the words blends with the melody, how the rhythm of the words combines with the rhythm from the band. A beautiful example of this, and I've put a link in the description, is from Alan Watts. He's giving a 10-minute guided meditation, which is all about following the sounds in the environment. And at one point he starts talking about his own voice, and he says, most of the time you are actively trying to understand what someone is saying. He says instead, just listen to his words like they are music, without trying to get at the meaning. That will happen automatically. Just follow the up and down of his voice. Third, you stand to one side. Let me explain this one. Say you're looking over the Grand Canyon. It's the first view you've had. You just got off the coach and everyone's rushing forwards with their cameras to take photos and get in the shot. But you hang back a little bit. You walk slow and you find your place off to the side where you have a little bit of space, and before reaching for your camera, first you look out over the view. You just take it in at a slower pace and try to feel the effects it has on you. Then you may think about how to translate that experience as closely as possible into words. Come up with a few ideas in your own mind before writing them down. It's at that point that you get out your camera and remember the scene in a different way. You may have a similar instinct in everyday life. Say, for example, most people on their commute have their heads down, not really engaging with the outside world, but you may be the person on the tube who's actually watching it almost as a social occasion and reminding yourself that this is life. this is a day in your life and everybody else's in that carriage. Point 4, this is similar. You view life like a story. You are at the same time inside it and outside it. You are in the moment, but you're also able to step away and see it from a distance. An example of this might be you go to a favorite city for the second time, and in advance you would frame it as a sequel, almost like a movie, and you'll think about who you were and what you were going through the first time you visited it and what has changed in your own world. And then you'll wander around the city, see what is the same and see what is different, how the emotions are this time around. You see it as a second chapter in your relationship with that city. In a similar way, you may look at your entire lifespan and categorize particular periods by their significance, by the images and places they are associated with, almost like you're building the worldscape for a novel, except this time it is real life. And the final signal, you recognize the big things in the small. Rilke, in his unbelievable book, very, very short, very worthwhile, called Letters to a Young Poet, he says, first, make yourself worthy of the small things. If you can do this, then life is never without meaning and never without excitement. It's also brilliant for a writer because basically we have to show, don't tell. And in order to do that, we need to pick up on the physical items or actions in the environment that seem quite basic in themselves, but symbolize a wider meaning. Let's take quite a familiar storyline that I got from a Gardel tango song about a man who's fallen out of love. Well, he's been dumped, and he goes to the bar to drink away his sorrows, and he can't get rid of this girl's image. She's always appearing in front of his eyes, and so he's drinking and drinking to try and forget her. But when he's right at the bottom of his drink, when he's just finished it, there she is. She appears in the bottom of the glass in that little circle. And so, of course, what is the logical next step he has to take? He needs a refill to literally make the face disappear in the bottom of the glass, and then he keeps drinking it and the face keeps appearing. So here you have like quite a similar, quite a common idea, right? Drinking to get over some past sorrow, but you have that beautiful detail, very physical, that symbolizes that wider theme in a way that just gives it new oomph. If you have this skill, it's quite beautiful because you become like a human camera. At any moment, life can be narrow lens or wide lens. It can be ultra close up or ultra cinematic. So that's it. Did you recognize yourself? If so, then you have the spirit of a writer, and it's your duty to let that spirit out and let it speak to the rest of us. If you want a little bit of inspiration and you have a smattering of French, there's a poem by Baudelaire that I've linked in the description that I think is incredible. It's called Enivrez-vous, and it means, what would you say? Get drunk, getting drunk on life. So take that spirit into your writing. At this point, a lot of people succumb to the fear, and it's actually the most gifted people who often have the most hesitation. They can see all the beauty that exists in the world, all the tragedy and the joy that they need to do justice to, and that makes them scared. They can see all the potential, and so they fail to try out their own potential. But not this time round. Give it a try. Small steps at first. What matters is that you are moving forwards. I did a video here, and I've linked in the description, that will help you get over that first hurdle or help you return to writing after, shall we say, a brief pause, a brief hiatus. If you're looking for support and entertainment on your writing journey, subscribe. I release a new video every week, and I'd love to hear your own thoughts on the secret signs of being a writer in the comments. I'll see you next week.